Earlier this week, I visited the Weill Cornell Burn Center, where more than a dozen victims from the Trade Center are being cared for. The first patient I talked with was Paraser Nandan. He was in an elevator when it all happened. Watch this.
So we went in normal, it closed, and before it could have moved, I heard it boom, and then debris started falling on us, oil started falling on us, and sparks. We were all on fire.
How did you get out?
Well, that's the point I'm coming to. So we were, all the ladies were screaming and everything. Well, I came to a point that this is it. But I saw a lady, a tall, big, strapping lady, and I don't know how she got her fingers between the doors, and she prized open it like that.
Elevator door?
Yeah, the elevator doors. And she flew out, another lady flew out, I flew out. But I was all on fire. As soon as I got out of the elevator, I tried to get the fire out of my head, my hands, when my shirt was ablaze too. But I couldn't get it out. So I rolled on the mat, on the floor, rolling to get the fire out. When I finally got the fire out of me, I looked, I saw nobody.
You were all alone?
They were all gone, and there was smoke. So I took some time to come to my senses. And when I looked, I saw a hand on the door, and it clicked, and the person went down. So I said, that's the best way. I headed towards there. I opened the door when I saw the stairway, and I started to get down.
How was he treated, Doctor?
Well, when he first got here, he was actually having trouble with breathing, and he was on a respirator. He was treated to maintain his function of his lungs. And then we took him into what we call the tank room and cleaned up his wounds, took off the dead tissue and so forth, and put him in a white cream that we use, an antibiotic cream.
Were you in a lot of pain?
Yes, I was. My whole skin was bleeding fire. A lot of pain, a lot of pain.
You were conscious?
I was conscious.
Continued good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Doctor. Sure. What was the scene like here when you arrived?
It was like a war zone. I mean, there were just people all over the place setting up rooms, getting organized for the patients. That was one of the things that was impressive, was our nurses and staff just came. They weren't called in. They just all came.
They knew to come.
They knew they better get here.
So you were fully staffed?
We were fully staffed, yes.
I imagine a lot of people walked, huh?
People walking over bridges, people walking here, yes.
And with Dr. Yurt now, we visit another burn patient, BUSANA MUTATANA. She is Thai, her name BUSANA, which means very lucky.
Yeah, my name means very lucky.
Your very appropriate name. What happened, BUSANA?
I heard the explosion sound. And
So you heard the sound?
Yeah, I heard the explosion sound, like boom, boom, like that. And we kind of stopped and then asked, what's going on? And, you know, no one answered anything as yet. The smoke coming out from the elevator, not the passenger elevators, the freight elevators. So we start turning back, and then we say, let's go. So I ran, you know, very fast out of the building from the west side.
You're safe, you figure, right?
Yeah, I figured that I can manage it, you know. I ran very quick outside the building, and I was very unlucky because probably it's in a very hurry. So I fell down after 10 feet out of the building on the west side. Yeah, and just lying down there, just few seconds, I feel like a heat swept through my back and my skirt. I feel like very, very hot, you know, heat swept through like that. I kind of turned my face to the side, and I see the kind of sandstorm and the ball fire coming out from the building like huge.
Came out from the main floor of the building?
Yeah, came out from the west gate of the building. And with that, I saw girls and many others who usually smoke in the morning before they're going out to work, blew away with that fire on their back and their hair. Everybody just go like screaming.
And you stayed on the ground?
I still stay on the ground, helps it, you know. But then after probably 5 minutes, my husband actually, you know, he walked into that building with me.
He works there too?
He works there too, but then on that day, he was luckier than me. he walked separate. He's not going up with me by that day. He said he going to buy something from the Duane Reade store. So he walked, so he walked to the other way. So then he come back and extend his hand and pulled me up and try to, help me.
She looks terrific. Where were her burns?
Her entire back was burned. Both of her legs were extensively burned. She had about a 40% of her body was burned.
Was she in danger?
Oh yes, she was at high risk. She has had 2 operations. She had her entire back grafted, and both of her legs have been skin grafted now.
Thank you, and good luck.
You're welcome. Very nice to see you. Thank
you.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Extraordinary, the attitude, Doctor.
Yes, she's very strong.
Anything in the mail?
Brian Reeves. Well, I urged later not to run out. How you doing, Brian?
Okay, Mr. King.
So where were you when it happened?
I had entered the building because I just started my rounds. I had entered the building and was going to do the lobby post. After visiting the lobby post, supposed to visit them 2 or 3 times. And I was just starting my first round inside the lobby. And when I went inside and I went to the first guard, I guess that's when the plane hit. And he had turned around. I didn't feel it just shook the way he did. I don't know if it was because of the way I entered the building or what. And he looked at me and asked me, was that a bomb? And I said, I don't know. And on the opposite side, that's when a lot of debris started falling and we just ran. And I started to run outside. And when I ran outside, it was like a gust of wind that knocked me over. And
how'd you get burned?
I don't know when I got burned, but I just know when it knocked me over, there was something, the windows blew out. And when the windows blew out, I was on the ground and like I said, there was a gust of wind. And when I opened my eyes, I seen bright orange light.
Scared, huh?
Yeah.
Boy.
And I screamed, and my son flashed before me, right in front of my face, and I just...
Your son's face?
Yeah, my son.
How old is he?
He's right there. In the picture, he's 7. Right against the wall there.
Boy.
Yeah.
He was in school, huh?
Mm-hmm. His face flashed before me, and I just got up and ran. I wanted to see if I had another chance, so I just...
Did you know you were burned?
Well, yeah, I think my coat was on fire. And I went around to, around by West Street where the Olympia bus pulled up. And I felt heat, and I went over and I was gonna, I was thinking, but I was gonna try to drop in the bushes, but of course, if I was on fire, the bushes would ignite. So I just started to take off my jacket. I took off my jacket, and once I guess I wasn't burning no more, I had the sense that I wasn't burning no more, I started to make my way across the street over to where they had the ramps, one of the ramps over there.
It's gone now.
I went over there, and the guard that was in there told me, he looked at me and he asked what happened to me, and he told me to sit down, but I just kept moving.
Tell me what was the condition of Brian?
Brian was stable, but he had a major burn.
Where?
He was in a lot of pain. Worst burns were on his back, some burns up on his head, burns on your arms also, right? And he ended up having to have surgery, and actually Dr. Bauer's going to plan to operate again tomorrow, is that right? To do the
more
grafting on his back, right?
Good luck. You got a great little boy. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Thanks for this. We're at New York Presbyterian Cornell Medical Center, and this is the burn unit, and with Dr. Yurt, I'm Larry King. Arturo and Carmen Griffith, husband and wife, also used to be elevator operators at the World Trade Center. Both were hurt on September 11th. They ended up in different hospitals. For 3 long days, each feared the other had not survived. Where were you when everything hit?
I was on the 78th floor inside of an elevator with 6 other people ready to take them up to Cantor Fitzgerald.
And what happened?
I couldn't even take off because there was a loud noise, and we all bent down and put our hands over our heads, and we started screaming because stuff was coming down on top of the elevator, and the next thing we heard was an explosion, and the side panel of the elevator opened up like a V, and fire just came inside of the elevator and was burning all of us.
How did you get out of the elevator?
And, I was inside of the elevator trying to open the doors, and the door button wouldn't work. So I said that I didn't want to die that way. I put my fingers in between the elevator doors and pried it open, and it only opened up this much.
And you got out that way?
Before I got out, I felt somebody running through, like between my legs out of the elevator, and somebody jumped over me. And when I looked back, a big draft of fire hit me in my face. I had closed my eyes real tight because I saw it right in front of me.
Oh,
and
my God.
I got out of the elevator and laid on the floor and patted my hands. And I took my jacket off and I put off the fire on my hands and my face. And I was screaming to my coworker, Arlene, and she said that she couldn't come to me because she didn't know what was going to happen. So what happened was...
What happened?
She called me and she said, follow my voice. There was no lights, nothing but smoke and debris all over the place and people screaming. So I crawled to her and I looked up at the wall, and the wall was split in half. And I said to her, we gotta get out of here. Look at the wall. And they took us inside of an office. And the gentleman there was like the captain for the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a fire, they all come out and they're supposed to
Did you wind up going down the stairs?
Yes. He told us to take the stairwells to the left because I was too excited. I didn't want to stay there.
So you're burned and you're hurt and you go down 78 floors.
Yes.
Let me check with Arturo. Let me tell Arturo, now you were manning what, a freight elevator?
I was running 58 car at the elevator that go from B6 to 108 floor.
Where were you when it happened?
Well, I was on my way from B2 to 49th floor. And as I took off, it was a matter of seconds, 5, 6, 7 seconds, I don't know. And there was a loud explosion and the elevator dropped. And when the elevator dropped, was a lot of debris and cables falling on top of the elevator. And I put my hand over my head and I said, oh God, I'm gonna die. But I didn't know what was happening. When the elevator finally stopped, they had an explosion that bring the doors inside the elevator. And I'm sure that was broke my leg. And then they had another explosion on the panel that threw me, against the wall. And I guess I was unconscious for a couple of minutes because somebody else was in the elevator with me. And they say that they was trying to get my attention and they didn't get no response from me.
Now, you were taken to what hospital?
I was taken to St. Vincent Hospital.
You had no idea where Carmen was, right?
Well, at the moment, I really didn't know what happened.
And Carmen, you were taken to a different hospital?
Yes, I was.
So you had no idea what happened to Arturo, and Arturo had no idea what happened to you, right?
Right.
I
didn't know where he was.
How did you make the connection, Carmen?
For 2 days, my eyes were swollen, maybe 3, and I couldn't see anybody, and something told me to call my aunt and my mother and let my mother know. And I told them that my mother is very ill because she just came out of the hospital. She's diabetic. And I told them to just tell her the truth, that I'm all right, but that I'm burnt. And where I was, the hospital that I was in. And she said that thank God, and she said that she'll let my husband know.
And Arturo, how did you know that Carmen was all right, or at least not dead?
Well, I went to the hospital. They took me to the hospital, and as well, they went through everything, the tests and all that. They took me up to the 7th floor, and I called my mother-in-law, and I told her that I was alive and with a broken leg. If she did hear anything, you know, from Carmen, she said no.
Wow.
But I will let you know if anything. So that day they gave me all, you know, medicine for pain. But that night I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about her. And the following day, in the morning, they told me that I was going to get a surgery done at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I called my mother-in-law and I told her, listen, I'm going to have surgery done at 3 o'clock. If you hear anything about Carmen, she said, no, but we still, you know, we will let you know if anything. So when I came out of surgery, I called. And she said, son, we found your wife. She is in Long Island College Hospital. She's in the IC unit. She is burned, but she's alive.
Wow.
And that was,
and it was the
best
4th or
day of my
5th day
life.
that you finally spoke to each other, right, Carmen?
Yeah.
A couple of, after that, I got called at the hospital and I see
and then,
you. And
and
I
then
was
they moved.
told that he was in St. Vincent and that he was alive and that he had a broken leg.
And then Arturo, they moved you to Long Island, right? They moved you to Long Island College Hospital, and you're both in the same room now.
Yes.
Right. On the 19th, they brought him over.
Wow. And you both get to go home.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are you feeling, Carmen?
I'm a little well done, but I'm all right.
Sense of humor. I salute both of you. What a great story. Arturo Griffith, Carmen Griffith, both work at the World Trade Center. He's in the freight elevator. She's in a regular elevator. She gets burned. He breaks a leg. They go to different hospitals. 4 or 5 days later, they wind up together, both living, and both get to go home. Another incredible story in a saga of stories.